take our time to give people some time to get in here. I had both house farms today. I haven't had any food yet. So I have some Skittles. I'm exhausted. Thank you for being here. If you're part of the replay crew, I hope you're doing well. And excuse me if this is annoying. I'm going to turn on this light in the back. And I'm going to clip this on to my phone. I hope you're doing well where you are. If you're catching the replay and it's a different day than when I'm doing it, today is June 5th. And we are having thunderstorms here in the first state of the United States, the state of Delaware. And there was a tornado warning, but I think that's more so for lower Delaware. So today we're going to be talking about the Natasha Denona Golden Palette. I was eyeballing, excuse me, this is annoying you, the highlighter palette. But I have 5 of the House Labs highlighters. Hey, Lot. Yes, let's do this troll style. We're going to paint the face. You know it. I was looking at the highlighter palette as well. But, okay, let me pull out the highlighters from House Labs that I have. And I was really curious about it because I do like her highlighters and blush formulas. I like the House Labs blush formula a little better. But when I was looking at the highlighter palette, the first shade, it is inclusive. There's a light shade, mid-tone shade, and a deep shade. And I thought Golden Pyrite would be the light shade in that palette. I thought that Raw Amber would be the middle shade in that palette. And I thought that Chocolate Opal would be similar to the darkest shade in that palette. So I did not get the highlighter palette. I'm proud of myself for it. If I saw it half off somewhere, I would probably get it. But truth be told, I would probably end up selling it down the line because I really enjoy the House Labs palette. And I don't mind traveling with all of them. So it is nice to have everything in one compact. But am I really going to use it? You curious about the highlighter palette too? You know what? And I don't reach for face palettes much either. And I actually decluttered my Hourglass face palettes because I realized once I got into the House Labs, the highlighters and the different blushes, I wasn't even using them. So as much as I love them, I'm like, let me just get rid of it. Well, there was life into it. And they sold pretty quick on Macari too, which was great. So I printed out information. I am going to do the intro. I think I need to stop eating these Skittles because they take too long to chew. So let me put them in the kitchen. I'm going to do the intro for those who will watch the replay. Hello and welcome. My name is Dion. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation. Hey, Tony. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. The crazy, just knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Use a hourglass when you travel. I was taking it, but then I was also taking my House Labs. And so I was using all the House Labs. And I'm like, the hourglass ones are too nice and too great of a quality to not use. And so I was just like, do I just keep them because I love them and not use them, or let somebody else love them too and use them? You know what I mean? Because I don't like for stuff to not be used unless it's just trash, and that was not trash. And so watching beauty related content, this is part of the intro. Not feeling like you need to use a certain brand, a certain tool, or a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. You set the standard for yourself. The bottom line here is self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to. Damn Skittles. But never feeling like you have to. Oh, I'm late on letting you know if you're new here. I do curse sometimes. You just found that out. And there's an organism that lives in my throat that randomly hiccups, gurgles, and belches. But because I only have Bold House Farms today and a little bit of water and like 3 Skittles, I hope it's not going to make an appearance. It's been a day and my hormones are doing their thing. So I've been sleeping a lot, which made sense because I had migraines for the last 3 days. And so everything lines up into according to what my body is doing. So hey Grace, I already did the intro, so we're going to jump into the Golden Palette. I ordered this. Okay, I broke my perpetual low buy. I'm gonna eat that whole, that's the whole bag, and this is the perfect container for it. This is from a ceramic store that I found somewhere, and I'm trying to see what the name of it is. And what I like about shopping at ceramic stores, and this wasn't even a store. We were going somewhere, and this is when I was with Trevor like years and years ago, and we would see like a little house, and it would be like a barn type thing in the back, but they had set it up into like a studio, and they would hand make ceramics. And so I got into ceramics, and even though some people are like, oh, it's not perfect, but it's not mass produced. And so each item, even if it was another one of these, you know, the lining might be different, the dip might be different, right? And I have Lock, if you want to see my ceramics, let me know. It is really cute, and this is the whole bag of Skittles, so it fits in here. And I think this is about a quarter cup. um and I did get some that were semi-matching because they have different color stories and, you know, different setups. But I really got into ceramics, and I love that each one is unique. And I bought a mug that I really liked. And when I got home, I'm gonna write that down right now, Lock. And when I got home, let me pause. Do ceramic collection video. And I was using my mugs and stuff so much. And I'm going to put member requests, even though I asked if y'all wanted to see it. But it's actually mostly, I think most of you in here now are members. I wasn't using my other mugs, and so I got rid of a lot of mugs and other things because I do prefer the ceramic. And so I had bought a mug because it was really cute. It was really pretty. Of course, it was unique. And even if there's like 5 of them lined up, each one is a little different because they're handmade, right? And so when I got home to use it, I couldn't get my fingers in the holder. So it was really tiny. And so I gave it to Trevor's sister because she's petite. And she's like, you sure you don't want it? I said, I can't hold it because if I had to hold it like with one finger in it. So that was a lesson for me. Hey, Dawn, that to actually pick up and hold and try things to see if they fit my man hands. Hey, DM, how you doing? And so I was talking to somebody about ceramic stuff, and they said they don't like that they're all not perfect. And I'm like, it's perfect. Its imperfections are what makes it perfect because it's unique and it's one of a kind. And even though they had like 10 of these, each one, it was something different about it. And so that's what I like about it was the uniqueness. And because it was like a little studio thing, the many ones that we went to, they would negotiate price. And if you buy more than one thing, they were like, oh, wait, here, take this too if you want this. Yes, perfectly imperfect. And I just fell in love with, and you see how, you know what I mean? And they were saying they like stuff that was perfect. I said, well, buy stuff off the assembly line from Walmart, Target, or wherever you go. But if you want something really unique, you need to go to where they make it. And the people were always so nice. They would be like, hey, you want to see the studio? So they're taking us in and they're showing us where they actually form this stuff. And they're showing us the kiln. Of course, it was hot in there. But so we didn't go close to the kiln, but we had so much fun looking at it. Exactly. So if we were driving somewhere and we saw something that said Pottery Barn, we would just pull over and just go in, and we would be in there for like an hour, and we always ended up buying something, even if it was just like one mug. But I really that's one thing I like about interracial dating is because our exposure to things are different. Because growing up in the inner city, nobody's talking about going to Pottery Barns and handmade ceramics, but being with him, you know, I was introduced to a lot. That's how I learned about loose teas, even though there are black people I found out that do prefer loose teas, but I never heard of them because growing up inner city, you know, you just buy what's on the shelf. But and also him being with me, he learned a lot too about different cultures. So it's really nice. I buy from a lady on Etsy. She's out of Pennsylvania. A lot of sellers on Etsy. Yeah. And so I like going in and touching because you see the texture, you see the shape, you see the lines, and even all of this is textured, and like you can feel everything. And on some of them, and I'll get more into it. I feel like I'm on a tangent because I just love my ceramic pottery stuff. They have their emblem or whatever, and I don't know where it is on this one, and I don't want to turn it upside down and drop my Skittles. It might be inside. And even the insides, you still have that same texture. Okay, let's get to the palette. Because I'm really just like, I really love that stuff. And so I keep my regular mugs. When I travel, I either get a magnet or a mug because I know I'm going to use it. Magnet sticks on the refrigerator. It's not in the way. I hate clutter. And I'll get a mug, which I do use. And so all of my mugs, aside from the ceramic pottery ones, are from like Ohio, Texas, wherever. And I just use those for like Boathouse Farms or like random tea. But usually I'm using my ceramic stuff. But we'll do a video about that. So I did write that down here. So I know, because I'm like 10 minutes in. I'm still talking about ceramics. So I ordered this today. I broke my perpetual low buy. I paid full price for this. And I don't suggest you do that. I do have a 15% off code. So does Grace. So does Patty. So does Morgan. So does Steph. So does a lot of people. Alicia Archer. And so there are codes, but you can get this for Dawn. I just said I paid full price. I purchased it from Sephora, and I when I saw it, I knew I wanted to get it, and I felt like a whole half-ass clown. How can you be a whole and a half? That's because I'm part troll too, because golds don't really show up on me, and so I'm like, why? And then I'm thinking about, do I have a lot of golds in my collection? I don't, because they don't show up on me. I didn't get the bronze palette because bronzes don't show up on me either. Like, you see how this is just blending into my undertone. So, but it was just something about it, and I'm like, it would be unique. You know, I have Xenon, which is gray based, and other palettes which, you know, have their own vibes. So it was just something about it, and I was just like, and my code is Dion Loves Makeup if you do want to get this, but shopping responsibly is only 15% off. Sephora eventually will have 20% off. This is not limited edition. If you wait till Natasha's end of the year sale, sometimes it's like buy one, get one free. It depends on, because it just depends on what the sales are looking like. Because I can get 20% off with the Ulta coupon that includes Prestige. If I wait for Sephora 20% off, I can get 20% off. So even if I'm shopping on the Natasha site, I'm only getting 15%. I can get 20% elsewhere. You see what I'm saying? Or, as I'm saying, wait for the end of the year sale, because sometimes her middies come out to buy one, get one free. And that's when I purchased, and even the full size. And that's when I got my second Biba, Circle Loco. They were $129 a piece. I think I paid like maybe $130 something for both of them. And so Natasha's end of year sales are usually really good. And so even though I have a code, I'm saying you can get better than 15% off. You hardly get the Prestige coupon. They only come maybe every few months, maybe. And I wish they were more frequent, because I be looking for stuff and I'm just like, And then when it does come, I'm like, ooh. Or if there's a point multiplier. So it just, where I shop is where I get the biggest deal. And in my haste, I forgot to click to activate Rakuten, which was 2% off. But so yeah, I paid full price for this, like a whole half-ass clown. But it's really pretty. It is textured, and you can see the light reflecting off of it. You see my fingerprints. But where you see this is raised. So it's not textured like, I don't know. But you can, like retro glam. But it feels like waves. And so you can actually see it. Very pretty. Natasha knows how to do her packaging. And of course you can rearrange it, mix up your palettes. And so we're going to open it up. It doesn't look as gold as it looked online to me. Like, you see these colors, like in person. Let me see, hold on. Well, not hold on, but let me, if y'all hear that, that's the rain. And I'm going to turn off this little light up here. This little light of mine. I'm going to hold it upside down for a minute. This is what I see in person. So do you want me to leave the lighting like this, or turn that one back on and turn this one back on? Because we're here to see about the colors. So I'm going to turn off the one in the back, and I'm going to turn off this one up here. This is what I see in person. I'm like, even though it's a lighter palette than like Martine Cosmetics 669 or Xenon or you know, something like that, it's not as gold as I thought. And then I also remembered that Natasha, the background, she sets it in a way that will bring out certain hues in the color. Like for Xenon is black because it's a gray base, and so it brings out a deeper look to the palette. But this is what I see in person. And so when I opened it, I'm like, this is pretty. And I was just like, oh, because my thought was I'll get it, use it, like it, but not love it because golds don't show up on me. And then I would end up selling it. But we're going to see. And y'all know, just the flicker of the light makes a huge difference. I know Lock, and this is perfect sleeping weather, like for real. And on top of the migraine that's making me loopy and the hormone things doing their thing and the rain, I had to set my alarm to get up today. And actually, I had to set it yesterday to get up because I had a call that needed to happen. Because I was just like, I just could not like wake up. So leave the lighting this way for the sake of seeing the colors. Yeah, I love the sound of rain. It's like ASMR. So I did print out information because looking on the back, and I will probably cut this off like I did for the Yucca palette, the Yucca palette, because it has the finishes. It has the name of the shadow and the finish. And so when I was looking at this, CP is cream to powder, and then I saw SF, and I'm like, oh, that's that sparkling foil formula that's in the Xenon palette. And CM is creamy matte, excuse me. And then I saw SW, and I'm like, I think that's that wet effect that's also in the Xenon palette. So even though 9 of these shades are the same exact shades as the gold palette from back in the day, the formulas are a little different. So I was like, oh. But when I seen comparison swatches, the colors still looked exactly the same. But then they're hard swatching on their arms, or how you apply them with a brush on your lid. I don't know if it would make a difference. And there's some metallics in here, and we're going to get into this. There's one chroma crystal, which I tend to don't like the chroma crystals as much as the other formulas, but yeah, so I'll probably cut this off and put it in the palette like I did for the Yucca palette. So again, so yeah, thank you all for being here. So if you're enjoying this, or think you will, go ahead and click the thumbs up button. So leave the lighting the way it is, or turn all the lights back on. So we're going to talk about the inspiration of the palette. I'm pulling out my sponge tips because y'all know how we do here. We paint the face because my arm is not the same shade as my face. And for me to get the best representation of what shadows are going to look like on my lids. Hey, Sunsaray. I swatch on my forehead and on my face. Because look at my arm. Like, whose arm is this? And my arms are not even the same shade. This one is more tan. This one is more bronze. So, like, go figure. You look. The smell of rain. You know, this smells like corn. Someone said, when I was in the military back in the day, I was down in Texas, and somebody was saying, oh, it's going to rain. I could smell it. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like really smell. And I'm like, hey, Jadessa, I'm glad you're here. Oh, thank you. These are 5 different bracelets. This one is 2 carat, and these are 1 carat. So these are 5, and these are gold and diamonds. Diamonds and gold. Yeah, so 5 bracelets. I used to have another one of these on this end, and it looked really pretty, but it kept breaking, and so I ended up returning it after like 3 months. But yeah, so they told me they were like, just really just smell it. And so I was like, that does smell like corn. Like if you drive past a cornfield. and since then, if I'm somewhere, I can smell like it's going to rain. And then after it rains, especially in lower Delaware, because there's a lot of just like rural land down there, it does smell like rain. I mean, it smells like corn. And so I was just like, I never had thought about it, but you know, it stuck with me because it really did. So let's get into this palette. I'm gonna hold this, hopefully this finger won't lock up like before, because that was very painful. But this is not as golden as I thought, but we're gonna see when we swatch it. So I printed out the inspiration, how to use it, and each shadow with the formula, and you're on Rare Beauty site sniffing around. Dawn, you need to start a channel and do a collection video. I know I say that every live when I see you because you're always talking about you're buying something. A word on these YouTube streets is that you be buying a lot of stuff. So yeah, you need to do a video and do some collection videos. Do a channel and do some collection videos. So, and also it describes what the colors, well, it gives a description of the shadows. And so the inspiration, drawing inspiration from the captivating allure of liquid metals. Natasha unveils her golden collection. I was curious about the lip gloss until I saw it was a plumping lip gloss. And so what made it an easy path for me is because I have this from Pat. So I'm like, how many golds do I use? And City Lips has sent me this one. It looks pink, but it's gold with like pink reflex, but I don't see the pink. So I'm like, I don't need another. And this is a plumping gloss too, but it's not uncomfortable, painful, doesn't burn. So I'm like, I really don't need another plumping gloss or gold gloss period. But let me get back to this. The centerpiece of this collection, the golden eyeshadow palette, is an elevated version of her fan favorite gold eyeshadow palette, featuring the same beloved golden hued shades and new perfectly complementing essential earthy browns, replacing the original teals. So yeah, I never got the gold palette because golds don't show up on me, but I do like teals in those deeper tones. But then I got this one. Make it make sense. How to use cream. How to use mattes and creamy mattes. Apply with a soft, dense eyeshadow brush. Hourglass number 3, y'all. That's my brush. In packing motions, and then blend to diffuse for a seamless and airbrushed finish. Apply in sweeping motions with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. You still want the teals? It was a good idea you had before, saying if they did a mini gold palette and put some of those 2 of those teals in there, that I think that would sell out, I'm sure. And so how to use the sparkling foiled ametallics. Use a damp brush. Y'all know I ain't going to use no damp brush. I'm going to use my sponge tip. Hey, Sylvia. Or fingertip. Y'all know I don't use my fingers. I'm going to use a sponge tip to achieve a reflective high shine finish. And I do find that with the sponge tip, for me, it is like a finger application for the eyeshadows. So if you're like me and you don't want to use your fingers, use sponge tip applicators. There's a link down below. I get them from Amazon, and these are the ones that I'm going to use today. And the price is reasonable. Wet effect eyeshadows. How to use those? Apply with a flat eyeshadow brush or the tip of your finger. You know I'll use sponge tips, but most likely I would use my Esom V27 because this is short. It's soft, but it is dense enough where it picks up and it applies really well. And if I do have issues or if I want it more saturated, then I still will go back with a sponge tip. So it is really about the tools. You don't have to use your fingers. You don't have to wet your brush unless you just want to. And so that's what it says for inspiration and how to use. And I feel like I'm talking real fast. Some people were talking about moving the Sills from Zendo to this one. I no longer have my Zendo. I think I sold it and I had mixed it with one of my other Natasha palettes, and then I had sold it in Macari. If any of you here have used my Natasha code, thank you, because I don't know who it is, but it sends me an email saying, something is pending. It'll say an order is pending. You'll receive an email when it's approved. And I did get an email that 2 different orders were approved. And then when I go on into, the background stuff, it'll show me like what the amounts are, and then it'll send me an email like when they pay it out. So it doesn't say like who it is or where it's from, but if it's any of you in here, thank you for using my codes, because that money does go back into me buying stuff, and actually that money will pay for this one and a little bit more. So we're going to my fingers are getting cramped. I don't want to hold it upside down because I want to go in order. So are we ready for the swatches? I'm ready for the swatches. Patty did a live tonight with swatches and 2 looks, and so I'm thinking she did one on each eye, but I didn't watch it because I did this video, and then I cleared out some emails, and then here I am. So I didn't do that. Yeah, they won't pay us out until we hit 100. You're talking about for Natasha's site? Sons of Ray? You talking about for Natasha's site? Because I've received less than 150 in sales for the Natasha website. And when money hits my account, like my bank account, I'm like, where did this come? Because however they word it, I'm like, where did it come from? And then when I start digging, I'm like, oh, it's from such and such. It is really pretty, Sylvia. And I'm hoping they show up for me. And so y'all know, really, Sons of Ray, I received payout for less than that. Did you set a threshold for yourself? Because I know for YouTube, for monetization, there's a threshold of $100. And that's why I don't get a check every month, because I don't make $100 every month from YouTube. I get a check like every other month. But yeah, I've received less than, really. I'm going to put my elbow on the table because my arm is getting tired. I received, that's interesting. That's interesting to me because I received less than that. Huh. I really have, wow. Okay. Okay, let's get into these swatches. I'm excited. So we're going to, hopefully nothing, well, her shadows aren't like flaky. Well, some of them, let's just do it. So this is, let me just look on my paper. This is Maliko, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong because it's spelled Mliko. So I'm gonna just say Liko. Number three, no, it's not. Number 538, and this is a cream to powder. This in person is looking very tan, and it's looking white on your end. So I might be seeing things. I don't know. Ooh, it doesn't look this dark in person, so this is not a good idea because now it's looking kind of green. You know what? Does this look better in the dark? It's still, but to me it kind of looks the same because this does not look like this in person. It looks tan and like a khaki tan. Okay, well since it looks the same, but we're going to leave off this little ring light and the ring light in the back. And this is described as matte cream powder off-white. So even though it looks off-white where you are, where I'm looking, it looks tan. So this is a, ooh, I love her cream to powder. Y'all see that swirl? All right, so we're going to do this way in case some of these have a shift. Looks like cream colored matte. But in person, it's more, it looks more tan than how it's looking. Yeah, it is looking more cream looking where you are, but in person it's looking more tan. So that's kind of throwing me off because I'm looking at this like, what am I looking at? So this is this, and I'm not going to be able to get all five across my head. You know what? Let's just go. Should I do all the golds at the end, or maybe do those on the chin? This is, what the hell am I looking at? This is Nebula, Nubia. I feel so illiterate. This is a sparkling foiled, and this is described as, it is chunking up a little bit, but then I am pressing kind of hard with the sponge tip, and it did just kind of flake down. This is described as do the golds together. Hey, little Miss Budget, thank you for ooh, I almost hit the wrong button. Thank you for popping in again. This is described as a sparkling foiled gold nude champagne. This shade right here. So we're gonna put this right here. Here it go, blending into my complexion. Thank you for the thumbs up. At some point, I think it would be great. Oh shoot. At some point, I think it would be great to see all the gold shimmers in one area. They look different, but not that different. Yeah, I think I'll do those on my chin. I don't know why, but for my live streams, when it converts to a video and I go down to comments, I don't see the live chat. In other people's videos, I do. And I went through all of my settings, and I can't figure out why. This, to me, in person is looking darker than this one does in person. I missed your last lives and just seeing this, so I'm here. Well, I'm glad you're here. You know, we did one yesterday, Monday, and I had said this was coming today, and if we should do a live, and they were like, yeah, and they said 9:30 wasn't too late. This is Panna. This is described as a matte cream to powder beige. Ah, that rain is coming. Why does that look? In the pan, this looks darker than this one, but this swatch way lighter. This is, I'm just like, what is happening? What is happening? And I'm like, how is this gonna look on me? Okay. Now we're gonna come over to this one. All of these look so much deeper in person. Like, I don't know how to get you to see what I see. But this shade here is Area, and it's a creamy matte, and it's a matte medium light dusty sand. That's how this one is described. I love this formula. I love her creamy matte cream to powder formula. So we're going to put that down here. I'm laughing because that is my complexion. So I guess my complexion is medium, like Dusty saying. I am a whole ass clown. Y'all. Alright, that sponge tip is done. We're gonna do the golds. We're gonna do these. This one I know is gonna be different, but we're gonna do these two, this one and this one on the chin. So we're gonna come down to here. This one is Varus or Varus. I don't know, y'all. And this is a metallic, medium antique brass, it says. I just love her formula. So even if it turns out that, after I do 5 or 6 looks, I might feel like I'm done with this palette. But I do know I'm gonna like the formula because I love her formula. Yes, I did, Shell. It came today. I ordered it Monday. I feel like I'm yelling. I ordered it Monday. It came today. So you see what I'm saying? How they just like disappear. Well, certain angles, like it does show up, but then in some angles, like they don't. But this one really just kind of disappeared. But then when I turn this way, like you can see it. So I'm excited about it. This one is Aura, and this is a metallic, and it's described as golden ivory. So we'll see what golden ivory is going to look like on me. For me, it is worth the hype because I love her creamy matte and her cream to powder formula. There are some people who don't like her creamy matte and cream to powder formula, so it's really just about preference. Some people will say this price point is never worth it. I've heard some people say Pat McGrath motherships are never worth it, and it really just comes down to preference. But I say yes because I love her creamy matte and her cream to powder formula, and so I know that it's going to work for me because I love those formulas. And so that was this one, which was golden ivory. It's a metallic. Now we're going to move over to teak, this shade here, and excuse me, this is a creamy matte, and it's described as a medium dusty caramel. My second husband called me caramel, and I'm like, yeah, that is kind of what I look like. So I missed the comment, so I'm gonna go back after I put this on. So stay tuned for looks with this palette. Not the cream and powder, I guess it's the cream. You don't like the creamy ones, they crease on you. Oh. Yeah, I can see that happening for some people. Especially the deeper ones, really. So that was teak. And now we're going to move over. We're going to save this one. So we're going to come over to this one, which is sandstone. And this is described as a matte medium ochre. So we're going to see. What I thought too is matte medium ochre. This is the look right here, these three. I was looking at, that sponge tip is done. All right, I pulled out a palette that I was looking at to pair this with, and I remember saying before, I don't mind pairing palettes. Oh, you're welcome. I think for those who say the shimmers are lacking, I think that's also a preference, and I think it's what you want. Because I don't go for the high shine shimmer look, I like her metallics. If someone has an extensive indie brand shadow collection and they like the high shine, the wet look, the shimmers, yeah, they're going to say these aren't working for them. So again, it comes down to preference and what that person likes. And Shell says the shimmers are for elegant style shimmers and for everyday looks. For me, every look is an everyday look, but but yeah, I know what you mean. Some people like more subtle makeup during the daytime, and then they'll amp it up for nighttime. But for me, I prefer the dark, smoky, grungy. So how'd I end up with this? Make it make sense. So where did we do? We did sandstone. So we're going to skip this one. We're going to come over here for log. And so what I listen for when I'm listening to reviews is if they say they like it, I'm listening to why they like it. If they say they don't, I'm listening to why they don't. For a long time, Teresa's dead. She was like, these palettes are garbage. But she would always say that she didn't like her cream to powder and creamy matte formulas. She was like, you put them down, they look pretty, you blend them, they blend to nothing. She's like, I hate that, I can't stand it. But recently, in a few of her newer Natasha Denona palettes, she was saying that she now really likes the creamy matte and creamy powder formula. And so it's just a preference and also what you're used to working with. Um, and so it's just a preference thing. So I listen to why they like something and why they don't like something. If they just say, like if I were to say, okay, I don't like this palette, it's trash because they just blend into my complexion. Well, everybody's not my complexion. And some people do just want light ethereal looks where it's not, popping color or like my preferred, dark or swamp water or grunge. So it depends on what you prefer and what you like and also what you're used to. Someone that I'm cool with here on YouTube, she cannot get the hang of the cream to powder and creamy matte formula. And it is a learning curve. And it depends on how you apply your makeup. But because I'm a packer, if you've watched any of my eyeshadow videos, I pack the hell out of shadow on and then I blend it. Some people I've seen, Morgan Turner for one, she uses a fluffy brush for the cream to powder and creamy mattes, but she also likes a more soft look makeup style than me. You know what I'm saying? And so, and she does really love the formula. I tried to recreate one of her looks and it looked so different because I didn't use fluffy brushes. I used packer brushes and I was packing shit on, so it was dark, whereas for her it was really light. And yeah, and so that's just, how I take things with a grain of salt. Some people do have a hard time with the cream and powders. And I don't know if it's the brushes, the tools, or the techniques. Like, I don't know. But they have always worked for me from day one, for whatever reason. So we're going to come down here to log. And this in person looks like ooh, it looks like shit. Like, it looks like brown feces. Like, for real, for real. And it's looking gray where you are, so that's weird. So this is called log, so it's fitting that it looks like feces. And this is a creamy matte. This is described as a dark brown. This just looks so different where you are than in person. And I thought it was going to be super, super gold. And when I opened it, I'm like, this is not really that gold. It does look like shit, though, for real. You only like the cream and powders with your reference brushes. And I don't use those because my lids don't tolerate, nor does my face tolerate natural hair brushes. And so, but some formulas, y'all know I like this shade because it's dark. Some formulas do require different types of brushes. And so if something doesn't work, and if something doesn't work, and if it's worth it to you as far as time and energy and effort, to figure it out, then yeah. But sometimes, like for me, I just want to put a brush in it or a sponge tip and it works. I don't want to jump through hoops trying to figure it out. And this is a creamy matte. This is a creamy matte. So you see how even putting it on, you see the depth right here, but on the outskirts, you see how that blended out itself. And all I did was swipe a couple times and went back in a couple times. This is what I like about her creamy matte and cream to powder formula, because even if you just keep swiping it, look at this. It's going to blend. Well, for me, you see what I'm saying? And look how I just love it. I don't know because I don't have the original one. I don't know which one is a repeat, but there are videos where they're showing the repeats. And I think Morgan was the first one I saw. She had her gold palette. She put a picture of the gold palette, and she put a picture of the golden palette. It was before it released, and she like highlighted which ones were the same. And I'm like, oh, so 9 of them are the same, but I don't know because I don't have that one, and I didn't make a note to write out which ones were. Primer for me does make a difference too. And some people never use primer. Some people use concealer as primer, but I've never even tried concealer with primer. So where are we? I was trying to see where it is, but this is the side we use. We're going to switch to this side, and we're going to skip this one because we're going to do the golds down here on my chin. So we're going to come over to Flesh, and this is a creamy matte as well. And this is light warm nude, it says. Oh, I'm no longer on my makeup IG. I cannot get into my channel over there, so I don't know. But I did see hers. MAC paint pot is your go-to, and I have a few MAC paint pots, and I keep saying I'm gonna use them more in shadow bases, but then I don't. My go-to primer is the Fenty primer because for me it's tacky. for some people it's not tacky, and for some people it is. For me, it is, and so I have no problem at all getting shadow on. The problem I do have sometimes is trying to blend because the shadow sticks so well to it. When I try to blend it, it's like the shadow's like, I ain't moving. You put me here, I'm gonna stay right here. So I do have to be careful with, if I'm trying to put something, in this area right here, because if I just put something here, it's not gonna move. And so that's all the non-gold type shades. And this is a pretty color story. And so I do the paint pots, but I still get creasing with the. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. And I don't even know what to tell you, like to try, because my lids are not oily and they're not dry, they're just regular. And with the primer I use, like it, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I do know some people, they put on primer or concealer as a primer, and then they put like a setting powder or a translucent powder on their lids. And then they put their eyeshadow on top of that. And for some people it works, but then for other people it doesn't, because no one thing works for every single person. But I'm sorry to hear that. And I imagine it's frustrating to keep trying different things and stuff isn't working. And so I do feel for you for that. You haven't watched quite a few channels. You used to. I like talking in the comment section, and many don't. I know, Dawn. It's like, why do a live stream if you're not going to read comments and talk? And that's what kind of pisses me off. Well, not that, but what pisses me off is when it converts to a video automatically, because YouTube does that. The live chat doesn't show up. So it's like I can't even go back and, refresh my memory on who said what. And that's also why, well, not why, because I always read comments anyway and respond to them during the live chat. But if somebody's watching a replay, they can see what y'all were saying instead of just hearing me, read it and then comment to it. You know what I mean? Because I read comments under videos. And so I'm annoyed that it doesn't show up. And I went through all the settings. I can't figure out why the live chat doesn't show up. You just picked up the P. Louise Warmer Primer for a good deal on TikTok. It's from the P. Louise shop, and I'm hoping good. Okay. I'm just catching up on comments. I think I'm caught up. She did move. What got me about her is, number one, she's way young. I'm 54. So, like, most of the ones that have been here have been doing this. But she used to be a teacher. And she left teaching to do YouTube full time. And she did a whole video of the transition. And she also talked about what she made and how she allocated her money as a full-time YouTuber. It was a very insightful video, very enlightening video. And that was like maybe a year or so ago. But I respect her transparency. And I respect that when she doesn't like something, she's like, this isn't my typical color story. I like light, boring, ethereal looks. Like, she says that. And so even if I watch her reviews, I watch it in mind knowing that she doesn't like dark eyeshadow looks or, grungy or whatever. And I appreciate that from any content creator. I'm still looking at comments when they say why they like what they do and why they don't. Because if they just be like, oh, I don't like this, it's too light. Well, that's your preference. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate when they talk about their preferences. I really love the Quigley Blvd. Dawn, you need to start a channel and do a collection video, because you always talk about something you have. And you would put me to shame, because y'all know I don't have a lot. So let's get to these golds. So we're going to go into Fizzy. This looks really sparkly. Fizzy. Oh, sparkling wet effect. And it says it's a golden nude. So do I dare swatch it this way? Lock always laughs when I say that. It's true. Yes, Dawn, you know what? People love collection videos. They love haul videos. Even though this is a sparkling wet effect, it is not messy. It is not flaking out. It's big. Ooh. Ooh. Because some of the matte ones, you probably can't see it, but some of them did not flake or chunk. But because of how I swirled it, and you probably can't see. But this one, you can see where the brush was, but nothing fell out. So this is Fizzy. Excuse me if you heard that in my throat. And this a golden nude. And we're going to put this here. See, this is what I'm saying. Golds just blend in. Yeah, people love... Where the hell is it? This is why I said I was a clown for getting this. You should do. I already have a video going live tomorrow, and I had one go up today, this morning. But yeah, I'm not going to do a live doing looks because I think I want to. Where the hell is it? Oh my gosh. You can see it this way. But then when I turn, like, where the hell? See, and you love creeping on. Oh, Janessa likes creeping on collections. People love collection. Dawn. People love collection videos. They love haul videos. And that's why I don't get like tons of views because I just do tutorials mostly. And they're like, we don't want to see you doing a jacked up look again. And I'm saying jacked up because most people don't seem to really like the grunt, the messy grunge, or you know what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. Look how this is blending in. I do have one a full face, so I have one bronzer and stuff like that. But where the hell? So it's like wherever I put this, whatever color combination, what the hell is that going to look like? So now we're going to come down to this one, which is Kava. This shade is a chroma crystal. Excuse me if you hear that in my throat. I'm not a fan of chroma crystals, but the last couple I tried, one that was in a star palette I liked. The other chroma crystal in a star palette I did not like. So I don't know what the difference is. And this is described as a sparkling champagne gold. And I do think that her chroma crystal formula has changed back, well, since back in the day. Because back in the day, I hated it across the board. I can't see the first one, so shit. Here, okay. So you see this one? So my thought is to do. It'll probably be a 3-look one video, and then a 2-look one video because it might be long. So these are two of the. When I turn this way, this one disappears. When I look this way, this one disappears. When I turn this way, you can barely see this one, but you can see that one. And that's what I would have to do, DM, is layer it because otherwise it's not going to show up. Like this one is really just like we ain't here. It's just a little bit of shine. So we're gonna come down to. Is this side used? Yeah, that sponge tip is done. This one is Aurum, AURUM. So we're going to do this one, and this is a metallic, and it's described as a muted gold. These are creamy. Like, these are not messy. Oh my gosh. So I got to see where. So here's the first one, the second one. This, y'all, I'm just like. Now, this will show up on my lids. But these two, if I did the same transition shade, which I don't do traditional transition shades, or if I did the same outer corner shade, these looks would look the same with these two. And it could be a there, not there, ethereal look. Put this on, inner lid, and then this one, and then that one, and it may just look like a multi-chrome. Should we? I'm gonna ask you a question, Janessa. I'm gonna text you and ask you a question because we have no, because we did the metallics already, so never mind. We're doing a metallic, no, a multi-chrome look. Next Monday's live, excuse me. Next Monday's live is using multi-chromes and how to incorporate matte eyeshadows into the look. Excuse me. This is why I said I was a clown. Excuse me, this is Alchemist, this shade here, and this one is a metallic, and it's described as a metallic brass. And so we're going to swipe this one. I might go back and re-swatch this one. That one is up here somewhere. So we're going to put this here. Okay, so these two show up. So it's the lighter ones that blend in. This way, it shows up. But these two, this is hella bright. I wonder if this and this would make me look dusty. That's what I really think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's, where did we skip to? Did we do Nebula earlier? I think we did put this one. Yeah, because 1, 2, that's this one. We're going to re-swatch that down here on the chin. So that's Nebula, sparkling, foiled gold, nude champagne. So we're going to, this one, it does flake up a little bit. The other ones didn't do that. The other sparkling foil didn't do that. Well, actually, it was a chroma crystal. This is the only sparkling foil. The other one was a sparkling wet effect. And so this is what that looks like. And we're going to put that down here. But I do like this formula, and I knew that from the Xenon palette. So this is a deeper version of this one, which blends in. You lost your index. Oh, I'm glad you made it back. And so this is why I was saying I'm a clown, because golds don't show up on me, and you see they really kind of don't. This looks like it has a shift to it, or maybe where how the light's hitting it, or the way I'm making faces. But these, this looks like a deeper one to one of these. This looks like a brighter one to one of these. These two just blend in. So we are gonna do looks with this palette. Yeah, so probably a 3 look and then probably a 2 look. So that'll give us 5 looks. The wet effect is pretty. The sparkling, this one you're talking about, Sun's Array? This one right here? This one is a sparkling foiled shade. Too close to the right, and I know that about golds and bronzes, which is why I never got the gold palette before, and is why I never got the bronze palette before. But yeah, and all it does though is just give shine. So if you're into like easy one and done ethereal looks and you're around my complexion, put one of these all over the lid, do a liner and mascara, and you're done. You're out the door. And if you use your finger, just swipe it, mascara, you're done. So if that's your style that you prefer, and you're around my complexion, then yeah. Or even if you're lighter than me, it will show up more on you. If you're lighter than me, it will show up more on you if you're deeper than me. Hey, Melina. But if you're around my complexion, it'll just add some shine. It'd be a nice daytime look, wear to work. Just put on some liner, or if you have one a different eyeshadow look, just tap one of these like on the center of the lid, amp up your look. Excuse me, elevate your look. But so this is why I feel like a clown getting it, because I knew they weren't going to show up. Now up here, these look nice, and even though it's going to be all the same tone, like with Xenon palette, we did get a lot of variety out of Xenon because I was doing different shadow placements, different techniques, and trying new things. That's what I would need to do with this to see how much variety can I get. But if you do the same thing, like for some people, you already know. They're going to take one of these for their transition, and whichever one they don't use for transition, they're going to use for their crease, or maybe this one for their crease, and then they're going to pop one of these golds on their lid. That's the typical YouTuber's way. You wish they had the really cool transforming shades that the OG had. Maybe laying down the golds on the browns. Definitely layering would help, and it would help show up. But I'm going to see how different, because I know I like to try and show y'all something different. I don't want to do looks that looks like all the other looks that people are doing with this palette, or I'll see a 5 look video and like 3 of the looks look the same, and so I'm just like, it's really 3 looks because you did 5 but 3 look the same. What annoys me, Melina, is the live chat doesn't show up after the live converts to a video for me. For other people it does, for me it doesn't. And then I wonder, is it because it's my channel and I'm looking at it, so maybe I need to go into one of my other, access YouTube another way and see if it shows up. But when I go to mine, the live chat does not show up, and it annoys me because I read comments under videos too. So yeah, I don't know why that does that, and I have gone through all the settings. So this is what this palette looks like. We went through the inspiration for the palette. We went through how she says to use the mattes, the creamy mattes, the sparkling foils, the metallics, and the wet effect. And we swatched all the shades, and as I swatched them, before I swatched each shade, I know I have a gold palette. Yeah, like what the hell? And before I swatched them, I told you how the shadows are described, and that was me copying and pasting, printing out. This is from the Natasha Denona website. So that is what this looks like, and I have videos planned out. I have videos already scheduled to air. So I'll see where, and I do try to leave gaps in case something comes up, and so I'll see where, oh gosh, I'll see where, you know, I can fit in. Jen Loves has talked about chat replay, and she made it sound like it's something done in the back end, but phone and desktop interface may be different. I've looked at it from my desktop, well, my laptop, and I've looked at it in my settings here on my phone, and I don't see anything that's not clicked about chat or comments, and so I really don't know. I really don't. And also, I don't think she does hers through YouTube. I think she does hers some other kind of way, and that may make a difference because when I schedule my lives, I do that on my phone through YouTube and not even YouTube Studio. At the bottom, well, if you're on your phone, there's a plus button at the bottom. And so you click that and it'll say live, short, post, or whatever. And so I click live, and that's how I schedule my live streams. And so when I come on to do the live, I go into where they're scheduled. And thank you, Sons of Ray, because she's the one that helped me figure this out. Because I'm like, how do you schedule it? How do I get to it? And this is back when I was on my IG makeup, and so she really helped me a lot. And I do thank you for that, Sons of Ray, because that's how I learned. She helped me learn, and she would take screenshots and circle it. This is what you do. Another screenshot she would do, and she would point. This is what you click. Like she like step by step. Sons of Ray taught me how to schedule lives and how to get into it. And so when I click scheduled lives on my phone, and right now because I have 3 more scheduled, this made 4. I clicked on this one, and then you click go live, and it goes live. And so Jen Loves doesn't use YouTube to do her lives. Some people use I don't know what it's called. It's called something. And then some people do Patreon, which is a different platform. Um, yeah, but for me, and live chat used to show up under my videos, and now they don't. So and we know YouTube is always changing stuff, and so I don't know. Go to settings, see live chat, then it gives options. Before I schedule, as I'm scheduling it, or after. But I did go into my settings, Sons of Ray, and for live chat, when I schedule it and I go into settings, it only says, you know, chat, well, all comments or whatever, whatever. And I click for all comments, but it still doesn't show up. Some people use Prism, Dawn says, but it still doesn't show up once it converts to a regular video. It doesn't show the live chat. And I actually don't see anything that says live chat, except when it converts to a video and I click to go to live chat, nothing ever shows up. Like there's no comments there. And I don't know how to get them to be there. Or maybe I need to just go in not under my channel, like just go in under one of my other random Google accounts or something. But yeah, so I go to, and even when I click the live chat settings under the video, the comments don't show up. But I'll mess with it again. So hopefully I'll see something I didn't see before. But thank you again, Sons of Ray. Yeah, she was instrumental. Step by freaking step. And I do appreciate that. So this is the palette. This is what I have. Chat is available later, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, Dawn. I still can't see the live chat comments from the live I did 2 days ago, so I don't know. I am scheduling under advanced settings. Yes. I told y'all she the bomb. Y'all need a question about how to do lives. Talk to Sons of Ray, because she will put in the time and help you, which is very much appreciated because we know she's busy. So I do appreciate that. And also, you know, us content creators looking out for each other and helping each other, and that's what it's about, right? So this is the palette. We're going to see on your scheduled ones, click the pencil and then scroll down to advanced settings. Do I need to write that down? Let me read that again. Schedule. Okay, let me put this palette down and write that down. Thank you, y'all, for bearing with me. And then I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do with this palette. Schedule. Okay, let me get the comment back. I got to write stuff down, y'all, because I'll be like, what'd she say? Schedule, click pencil. And we are going to do a ceramic. You know what? I think we'll do... I'll message you, lot. We'll see. Click pencil and then advanced settings. I have done that though. And you know, and I do it like 3 times. I double check it 3 times, and I'll tell you why. Because one of my live streams, it was set for unlisted, and so I'm doing the live. It wasn't nobody there, and I'm like, what the hell? And I didn't realize that a live could be unlisted, because I'm like, if it says I'm live, I think I'm live, and I wasn't. And so now I actually like triple check to make sure it says public, even though it's scheduled, so that when it's time, it'll show up. So it's a lot, y'all. If y'all do content, it's just a lot of little things. Mama Champagne is calling. Okay, tell Mom I said hello. Thank you, Janessa. So that is what this looks like. So what my plan is, subject to change. We're going to do a light ethereal look. We're going to do a smoky look. And we're going to do a halo spotlight cat eye look. So those will be at least three looks. And then we're going to layer. We're going to lay down one of these because these definitely show up. Excuse me. And then we're going to probably layer one of these, since they don't show up, just to see how they look over a darker shade. So that'll give us 4 looks. And for the 5th one, this is a nice look right here. Very nice, very light, very ethereal. So that's what the plan is, to get at least 5 looks out of this. And the hope is that they will all look different, because as I said, I'll see 5 looks in one video and 3 of them look the same. So I'm like, the other 2 looks is like whatever, which is what these would do, because they don't show up. So wherever I put them, it's not going to show up unless I layer. So we're going to experiment. We're going to do something funky. I'm also curious to see if this shade, this one and this one, this is the first one, and this is the 3rd one. I'm curious to see if they're going to look ashy on me. So that'll be another thing. If they don't, because this does look deeper in person, if they don't, it might be good for just buffing out, or, you know, buffing out wing in the shadow, or buffing out lower lash line. But we're going to see. So we're going to be doing a lot of experiments with this, or at least 5 looks for experiments. It is a very beautiful palette. My initial thought is I'll use it, do 5, 6, 8 looks, and then I'll be like, that's all I can do with it. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll keep it for a while and then sell it. That's my initial thought. But if when I use this, the looks are different and I'm enjoying experimenting to do different things, like what I did with Xenon, then I'll end up keeping it. And so I didn't get it with the intent to not keep it, but my thought is, if they're not going to show up, how much can I do? So in that case, I wouldn't. So it was kind of like, okay, I feel like a clown, but it might just work. What I also looked at was, this is nice, y'all. When I was saying I compare it, but I don't want pairing palettes to be a requirement. I want it to be an option for palette bingos or just doing something different. But I took a screenshot of this. Well, no, I didn't. I took a picture of this palette and picture of Biba. And I'm like, these would pair really nice. Biba only has 1, 2, 3 metallics. Everything else is cream to powder or creamy matte. And so I was thinking, with all of the shimmers in the gold palette, this would pair really friggin' nice. This would pair really friggin' nice with Biba. But again, I want pairing to be an option, not a requirement. And so we might, you know, come back another time, definitely another time, because not this time, and do some pairing with that. And you know what? I'll see what the members say because they be helping me out. So again, this is what it looks like. And thank you for the thumbs up. If you want some insight, if you want to have some say in what goes on here, you know, consider joining, because I do ask my members, and we do the live streams based on member requests and member suggestions and member topics. And so if you want to have some say in what goes on, joining is a wonderful thing. It is $2.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. It's not a lifelong, you know, commitment or anything. And there's other perks too. But so this is what we're looking like. This is what we're looking like. These two, I'm like, why are you here? And I could always swap it out with something else. You know what I mean? But we're going to use this as is to just see how much we can do. And then we'll start switching it up and maybe pairing it with Biba or something, or using a shadow base or something like that. So that'll be it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to thumbs up on your way out. If you've been here, if this is your first time here, whether in the live or the replay, and you find that you keep coming back, or you're just curious to see what the heck is she going to do with this palette, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Make sure you check your check your settings for notifications, because sometimes YouTube will notify you and then sometimes it won't. So that's something in settings that you might have to double check on. And comments are always welcome. There's always a lot of information in my description box, a lot of links, codes, and everything. But hold out for the best sale possible. So I'm not saying use my code. If you can get a better deal elsewhere, get that deal, girl, person, dude, whoever. So that's really gonna be it for this video. Thank you for being here, and thank you to the members who and the attendees for Monday's lives that said tonight at 9 o'clock would not be too late to come back and do swatches, because this was supposed to come today and it came today. And so this is what we have, minus these two. And minus these two, I am excited about this palette. But we're going to see what it does. Thank you again so much. Don't forget the thumbs up before you go. You will see me soon tomorrow, regular time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for my regular weekly videos. The rest of this month, our Monday lives are already scheduled out. And so that should be in your feed, or if you go to my channel and just scroll over to where it says lives, it'll show you, it should show you what's scheduled. And that'll be it for this video. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any comments. Me over here yakking. Nope, I did not. You're welcome, Dion. Thank you for being here. Good night to everybody that is here. And that will be it. And so, as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon. Don't want to poke you in the eye.